Hello and welcome, my name is Super Chicken and I'm here to try to get to rank 1 using my Mage Secret-Control. Let's just kick it off and see what we can manage. I'd like to apologise for the quality of my last two videos. I had some codec issues and it was really playing up with the quality of the sound, and it even chopped the front portion and end portion of the video off. I was pretty disappointed with how that went, but hopefully I've made some changes and things are going to be looking up. Anyway, a worthy opponent.
Jaina versus Jaina.
Another mage. Lots of mages floating around at this point.
My magic will tear you apart.
Okay, this is probably the the worst possible hand I could have. I think I'm just going to pitch every single card. I just have no use for 8 costing or 9 costing creatures. Definitely need some early interaction, some frostbolts or something like that, just to keep us alive. Perfect. That's actually a really good opening hand. In case you haven't seen what this deck is all about, it's a mage control deck, and what we are more or less trying to do is stall the game until about turn 9 or 10, and we're going to play one of those big cards that I just pitched away, so either Ysira, Ragnaros, or Pyroblast to finish off the game. I don't have a lot of creatures to play in the early stages of the game, so we're more or less going to be just trying to stay alive for as long as humanly possible. And to do that, we need to tactically use our removal spells like Frostbolt and Arcane Missiles just to ensure that we last long enough. At this point, I may as well just hit him for 1. We're sort of going to be reacting to whatever he does. I mean, the 1 damage isn't really going to amount to much, because once we resolve one of our big creatures at the end of the day, it's going to be slugging away 8 or 9 or 10 damage a turn. And that 1 damage that we sneak in early doesn't really make a difference. We're not playing those early creatures, so we can't really capitalize on those little incremental pieces of damage. Not a lot of action coming from him either at this point in time. I mean, he Arcane Intellect, so I should probably Arcane Intellect at this stage. The other alternative would be to put out one of my Spellbenders or Vaporizers to sort of set the stage. No, but definitely, how many cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, that would actually be a feature I'd like to see. I mean, I can hover over his hand and see that he has 7 cards, but I need to count it down here. I mean, just a little thing, but it would be nice to have. We'll draw cards. And I'll pass it back to him. We could very well be sitting in a sort of mirror match here. Like, he could have a very similar set of cards. Now that's actually quite interesting. He's going to opt to throw the fireball directly at my health total, which I actually think is a pretty bad thing to do. I mean, I could resolve something that he is definitely going to want to have that fireball for. Seems a little... doesn't seem too crash hot to me. I'll get my Spellbender out. I would put down the Vaporize instead there, just to sort of see, you know, to catch a creature, but the thing is, he hasn't played a creature, and he could just play a really sort of unimpressive creature that could be taken out on the Vaporize, and we could get rid of it with Arcane Missiles instead. So we're sort of saving that for something larger. I think this is about the time we play the Azura Drake and start making some action happen. There we go. He sort of comes off second best in that exchange with his secret going off there, because I got the Battlecry effect of drawing a card, whereas he doesn't. You know, more likely than not, he will probably use his Azura Drake and trade with my Azura Drake. But I've drawn a card from that process, so I've actually sort of gotten some degree of advantage against him.
I'll take that.
Well, he was definitely going to try to keep his Azura Drake around, but the Spellbender took care of that. He'll still probably trade. Actually, I've got to say that's probably one of the best things that could happen now. Sheep is one of those cards that just will crush us later on when we do play one of our big creatures, and for him to just waste it on an Azure Drake, it's pretty good actually. That is something that we definitely don't mind happening. Question is, how do we handle the Azure Drake? Oh, I don't think we'll be using our own polymorph. I think the way would be to Frostbolt and sacrifice our sheep. That way he's lost his sheep spell, and he still loses his creature. And it only costs us 1 Frostbolt. Yeah, that seems pretty good. We're going to go with that. Frostbolt and a sheep trade. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to lie, that was probably a misplay. I probably could have Fire Blasted the Azure Drake and kept my sheep, and it just causes him to use his own Fire Blast on my own sheep and just sort of muck him around just that little bit longer. But hey, live and learn. We'll put down a Vaporize so that we can sort of set up our Ethereal Arcanist for next turn. He's already 1 sheep down, so there's not going to be that many cards that are actually going to take out the Ethereal Arcanist, especially when it gets to 5/5 or 7/7. You know. Yes, it seems like we're going to stick with the plan here. We're going to put out our, well, soon to be 5/5. And I don't see too much reason to play any other card here. The only other card I'd consider playing is maybe Arcane Intellect. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We may as well do it. We have a lull in the action. You can just sort of get it out there. We're not going to burn off another card due to hand size again, so... So there's only a couple of cards that are actually going to remove that Ethereal Arcanist at the moment. One of which is going to be Sheep, and the other is Fireball. There we go. That's actually probably the best result we could have asked for. Getting rid of both of his Sheep spells.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's saying he's sorry, but he's now he has no card that can handle my 2 finishes because he's blown both his Sheep. And because of that, we may as well just jam it now. He has no counter spells up or nothing that's gonna, you know, mirror entity copy it. We are almost certainly going to play our Ragnaros. The alternative is to play a Secret-Control Mage and set up a secret, but I don't even have a secret. Well, that's that. Look, you lose both, you blow both your sheep before it even gets to turn 8, and you're going to have something like that. It's going to be impossible to deal with. There are very few things that are actually going to remove that off the board. There are around, I'll grant that, but I would imagine at this point he will be reeling or struggling or using an odd combination of cards to try to remove that.
They'll never know what happened.
You know, chain fireballs or something. I mean, the other thing you can do is attempt to try to flood the board with creatures and just hope that, you know, you can win a race, which probably won't happen. I do sort of want to use Blizzard here just to freeze them. It'll keep 7 damage off Ragnaros, 8 if you include that. So I do need to sort of keep them away from me.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Whoops.
Indeed. Okay.
My magic will tear.
Alright, we'll go with Blizzard. We'll just freeze them. Seems the way to go. I can even drop an Arcane Missiles. You might actually snag the creature on the left here. There you go. Expertly done. 3 mana remains. We could use our Frostbolt on that creature, but I don't really see him as being much of a threat. I'll put this into the face and pass the turn. Ragnaros may actually remove the creature for us. And it did. I think we actually sort of prefer Ragnaros to remove creatures than actually do the damage to the player. It just prevents them from doing any, you know, mystical stuff that's going to sort of ruin my day. And you know they're desperate when they're playing Arcane Missiles into Ragnaros. Get behind me. The best part about this is we're using one card to basically disarm his entire deck. He will play one card after another, and they will all die to this one powerful card here. And we are just going to pull ahead whilst maintaining a full hand size of our own. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why he's done that, unless he has a Ice Lance, which he doesn't. Because Ragnaros can't attack. So freezing it still isn't going to do a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, so the play here is either we let Ragnaros go the 50-50 between the two targets.
Magic will tear you apart.
Which I probably don't want that to happen. I'll probably remove this creature with my spells and allow him to do 8 damage to the player. Seems like the way to go. Because if Ragnaros happens to do 8 damage to the player, then the Booty Bay Bodyguard will kill Ragnaros, and, you know, we can do without that. I do wish to play the Azure Drake here. There is a chance I could walk directly into a Flame Strike, though, and have both of these disappear, which could be pretty bad. So I may actually hold it in reserve and make him take action here. There is no reason for me to drop these cards out and pressure him further. We're already ahead. We will grind him out. If we do play Azure Drake there and he doesn't have the card, we finish the game a couple of turns earlier, which is fine. But right now, we're well on track to finishing the game in our favor anyway. There's the Flame Strike I was telling you about. That's the exact reason why we didn't play Azure Drake just then. Okay. Without any sheep, without any flame strikes, probably just resolving Ysera or Ysera is probably our best bet here. Alternatively, we can go the dragon, but Ysera is just going to pull us so far ahead, it's going to be ridiculous. So I think we'll probably just go with that.
What to do?
I dream and the world trembles.
Removing a 12 toughness creature when you have no sheep is going to be a nightmare. And this is exactly why you hold your sheep for, you know, dear life. You just hold them and hold them. I mean, I'm lucky enough to be holding both in my hand right now. So no matter what he resolves, no matter how scary it is, even if it's more cranky than my own creature, I can still sheep it. I mean, even Ysera is out of Pyroblast range. Will live through a Pyroblast. Yeah, I fully expect him to be evaluating his cards one by one, as we can see at the moment here. I don't particularly expect any of them to have a huge impact here. That was interesting. He went the Rocketeer to my Mage's health total, which would suggest that he may have a Fireball or some similar burn spell that he can try to finish me off with. If he did 5 damage to me, I could have been down to, you know, what, 6 life after that. I think that's the game for us. We have 2 fireballs, so we'll just finish it off.
I shall bring you rest.
There you have it.
Well played.
Thank you. Alright, we didn't quite rank up, so let's just hit another one and get well on our way. Next game, please. I actually really do enjoy playing this deck. It's good, especially at these lower levels, where people are happy to blow sheep as early as possible and even throw a fireball at your life total as sort of like the opening move of the game.
Jaina!
Another mage. This is honestly like the 4th or 5th mage in a row I've
My
played now.
magic will tear you apart.
I actually didn't take note of the other mage's name, so I am assuming this is a different mage, but you can never be certain. It's an ugly opening hand. We're going to ditch these two as they're just too expensive. Normally I would ditch a Vaporize as well, but it is the only card that we can guarantee that we will be able to play. So if he is going for a, you know, beatdown style, we will have at least some interaction. If we did pitch it, you know, we could just end up drawing our finishes and then we'll have absolutely zero action. That's actually a really good hand. I'm quite happy with that. The Arcane Missiles is probably the best thing to see right there, because even if he decides to want to start dropping Fairy Dragons early on, we have a pretty good chance at removing it. Polymorph, always a pleasure. So Mirror Image is a complete non-threat to us at the moment. That will do nothing to us. I'm not even going to cast Arcane Missiles into that. That's just... I will ping his creatures though. I mean... You may as well. I mean, arguably you could ping his health total and it will get him down because these are a non-issue. But like I was saying before, you don't... the way this deck sort of works, I slog a lot of life off in the closing portion of the game, that one incremental damage at the start isn't going to do much. I think we'll just pick him away and pass the turn. We're really just waiting for him to make some action that it will be serious. On Mirror Image, I think there's a reason I don't take it as well. I mean, look from his perspective, the card is doing nothing. I'm playing no creatures, so it's sort of like a dead card in certain matchups, and for that reason, I can't consider taking it myself. Yeah, I'm loath to take a card that does nothing.
What to do?
Okay, so we have a secret up here. It could be a counterspell of some sort. And to be honest, when the game gets rough, we're going to want Polymorph to resolve. So I think I'm going to test to see what this is by playing Arcane Intellect. And see what happens. Okay, it resolved. That means it could still be a number of other secrets. We'll just have to keep in mind that it's not a counterspell. So it's likely that we can resolve Sheep without too much difficulty when we need to. Unless, of course, it's a spellbender, but hopefully we can
Handle it!
Probe that and find out later on. Okay, so Arcane Missiles to my life total is probably a waste of time. A waste of a card. You could have used that on a creature. It'd be worth holding. People are very quick in the lower levels that we're currently in ever since the reset. The lower levels, you get pretty zealous play. Like, they want to drop the cards no matter what they are.
What to do?
So what to do?
What to do?
Blizzard's an option. Although I consider it to be only trading 1-for-1 with the raid leader. I think I actually don't feel too compelled to take any particular action here. I don't really need to remove that. I could just play Ice Barrier and just absorb the damage and wait for him to play, or overextend, and then I could use Blizzard to take out more creatures than necessary. I would probably go and do this. The alternative is use Azure Drake. But if that's a copy creature spell, we could be in trouble.
What to do? What to do?
Ice Barrier. A good thing about Azure Drake is a lot of its power sort of comes from its Battle Cry ability, so even if it does get mirror entityed and copied, I'm the one who draws the card, but they do not. They get first action with the Drake, which usually means I will trade it with my own Drake, but they failed to draw a card from it, and so I more or less gain advantage from that. We need to be very careful what his secret is. It could be a nothing secret like, you know, Frost Armor. But there is a chance that it could be a game-swinging, you know, Spellbender or something along those lines. Look, he's not dropping anything relevant. He's just using his spells to throw into my life total. I am totally non-fussed by that. What's interesting is actually he declined to attack because of this. Like, he doesn't know it's Ice Barrier, so he could easily attack into it. So he's probably scared that it's a Vaporize. which would have been easy for him to test. All he had to do was throw this creature at it, and you'd get rid of the whole Vaporize. Yes, so we're going to go Azure Drake into Arcane Missiles and get some board presence here. If we're particularly lucky, we will... There it is. So he gets his Azure Drake. But he fails to draw cards off it. I was hoping just to Arcane Missiles and take out these two creatures, but we'll just see what happens with those. That was probably one of the worst results of an Arcane Missiles I could possibly hope for, but... Yeah, so his Drake is sort of large and cranky looking, but he didn't draw a card off it, so until it actually starts doing something, if it just dies shortly, then it would have... He actually falls down. This could be a little bit challenging. I do have 2 Blizzards, and he's about to go into Ice Armor, but we shall see. Honestly, he should just be attacking me. And here he comes. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't attack me last turn, especially if he was just going to throw this guy in first anyway. But, you know. I think the play here is quite simple. We're just going to Blizzard and then ping off the last creature and get 4 creature kills for the cost of 1 card. That is an absolute value play. His hand size is dwindling because of these exchanges that he's making, which is exactly what we want. We want to attrition his hand down whilst keeping ours quite high. 6 damage to the life total. Admittedly, he has got me reasonably low, and a Pyroblast is the only real thing at this point that does sort of frighten me. Because that will be horrific. That would be really, really bad. So I sort of want to make sure I get a counter spell up as quickly as I can. I don't actually have one in my hand, but I can try to draw one using the Azure Drake, which is what we'll do. Not quite. We'll play a Secret anyway, and just sort of hope that he sort of plays awkwardly around that Secret. We can absorb 1 Pyroblast without dying, but it will really put the clock on with his passive of Fire Blast, because he can just ping us down and we will eventually die. I'm sort of hoping that the Secret that I've played has sort of made him double guess, or double take playing a Pyroblast of his own. He might lead with a different type of spell. Okay. Frost Nova. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about this either. I mean, this creature is easily removed with our hand that we have here. I mean, we could use a sheep on him right now. A sheep and ping it with Fire Blast and remove it. But you know what? I'm not sure if that's the best thing. Maybe just playing Vaporize is the play here. It looks as though he's pretty keen to rush down my life total, so we'll make him pay for it in this manner. And we can keep our sheep for some very serious late game action, which will come... it'll come in the end, it always does. I think we're trying to keep our Blood Mage here. That's the only reason I haven't passed the turn just yet. We could play the Blood Mage and get our spell power up, but I sort of find that it would be better off playing in conjunction on the same turn as doing a Frostbolt. I don't see the need to stick my head out and then get taken out by a Flame Strike right now. And that's what I'll do. I'll just ping him and pass the turn.
Time runs out on you.
that Pyroblast, or the possibility of him holding a Pyroblast is a little bit concerning. I mean, it will be a very rapid 10 damage, and the game will close out quite quickly. Okay, he's probably going to attack with his Elemental. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, he's happy to spend all his fireballs on my life total, and when it comes to actually finishing me off, he decides to go for my creatures. I don't know why he did that. Yeah, playing the boar just to die instantly seems a bit... doesn't seem like the best play. Also, just having the boar in your deck in general probably is a bad idea. Alright, so I mean, we can go with a Frostbolt here and take it out for sure, or we can have a 50-50 chance of taking it out with an Arcane Missiles. The odds of that are increased if we play Blood Mage. We may as well do that. Blood Mage into Arcane Missiles. This way we get 4 missiles. Okay. That worked out well, and we're maintaining our... the first 5 cards in my hand here, the Frostbolts, the Polymorphs, and the Blizzard are going to make anything he plays incredibly easy to remove. And we're going to hold those for as long as humanly possible. I like that my hand size is nearly double his size. I mean, he just drew his card, so he's on 4 cards now, and I'm on, what, 7? And I'm the one with a board presence. I mean, I have 2 creatures out and a spell and a hidden secret here. There's the Flame Strike we were discussing earlier. The Senjin Shieldmaster, which is just sort of sitting here, is going to die on Vaporize. The only other real thing I can do here is... I think I play Ragnaros here. You know what? I have actually lost track of the sheeps. I think he sheeped at least one of our things.
What to do? What to do?
I don't particularly want to play Ragnaros into... I mean, if this is a sheep, we'll be in a bit of trouble. We might try to bait the sheep out here. I don't have any secrets, but I'll try to put a mage out anyway.
Many secrets.
Put the mage out. The reason I pinged it there is so if he does attack my mage, they will trade. And so it might make him go for me instead. I think that's the play. I think we pass. I would put the other mage out, but I don't want to walk into another Flame Strike. That would be embarrassing. And a very quick way to lose the game. We'll end the turn. I think the key here is to be patient. We don't want to put Ragnaros down when we know that there is a possibility of being sheeped. If he doesn't have it in his hand, he could easily draw it. I mean, he's seen half his deck. There's a reason he may not have played a sheep in the first place, because we just haven't been playing that many creatures. So he could just be holding sheep. And if he's not holding it, he's about to draw into it. This card is concerned. Yeah, without thinking too much about this, I'm probably just going to Flame Strike the board, and that puts me ahead. So we'll do this.
Job done.
Pass the turn. Now's a good time to really show the size of my hand versus the size of his hand. It's huge. No matter what he does, I have an answer for it. Although, like I was saying, there's the one card that will undo me at this point that I can think of, and that would be Pyroblast. It will just it will hose me quite badly. So we're in a pickle now. On a clear board, if he has a Pyroblast, I will die in a turn or so. If he has a sheep, playing this looks pretty bad. But I think I need to make some action happen now, because if he does happen to have that Pyroblast in his deck, I will feel it very shortly. So I think we just play Ragnaros and just honestly hope that he doesn't have the Pyroblast. Ragnaros is pretty good at chunking away your health. I mean, I've almost evened out our health, and I haven't really done anything this game. I've just sort of answered his things as efficiently as I can. He's reading the card text, so that's something. That's good. I'm expecting... The worst things that can happen now is Sheep or Pyroblast. Pyroblast to my health total and Sheep to Ragnaros. That is not good. See, why does that always happen? I don't understand. Why do people Frost Nova Ragnaros? This has happened in like the last 3 videos I've done. I don't get it. It's a different guy, I'm sure of it. Or at least of all the mages I've played. It's happened more than once. Do people miss that first 2 words on his card there? Anyway, I think we just win the game here. He does 8 damage and I can do 6 with that.
Wonder.
Or I can just Pyroblast him. Why not? See you later. Boom. Yeah, if his best move there was to play Frost Nova, he would have had a pretty bad hand. Alright, we are now a Murloc Raider. Feels good. Feels good to be a Murloc. Tell you what, we'll do one more. And time for one more, I think. So basically, ranking back up to the level that we were at pre-wipe and pre-implementation of the new ranking system. Previously, they had, you know, bronze, silver, gold, etc., up to master. And now they have cute, fun names and 25 ranks or whatever. Just sort of getting back up to the level that we were at previously is just a matter of putting in the time, I think. The opponents seem to misplay a lot. Not that I'm absolutely perfect anyway, but a little bit more than me. They misplay slightly more, and because of that, you're sort of able to capitalize on it. It's a pretty sweet starting hand there. I am likely to want to ditch this and this. People seem to think that because it's got 2 mana, you play it on turn 2 on curve as soon as you can. But it's actually, I find it to be better more mid-game, to augment your spells, to do that extra damage, so, you know, you can play it before you cast a Frostbolt and do that extra point of damage for that reach. We'll keep these, and ditch those. That is much better. That's a much better hand. Arcane Missile's always a pleasure to have. Aha! I don't know if you guys have seen the Murloc decks going around, but I have a particularly good feeling that this would be one of them. Although, that said, he has misplayed already by playing a Murloc Raider against a mage. Because my passive is pretty powerful. We're going to streak ahead if he keeps doing plays like that. Murlocs are good. Like, it's a reasonable deck. I wouldn't say it's the best aggro deck around, but it's good. It gets less good when you play one toughness creatures. Yes, this is definitely a Murloc deck. You know, 50-50 chance we take it with Arcane Missiles, or definitely take it with a Frostbolt. It could get ugly. He does have that. He would more than likely have that card, that Scout card, where it puts down 2 Murlocs, which means he could swing for 3, or if he drops the Lord, he would put it to 4 health. 4 health will make it a nightmare to remove, and that means I then have to use my Sheep. I think we have to get rid of this creature. We can't leave it up to 50-50 chance with Arcane Missiles. We need to remove it. If he plays the Lord card, which is the one that buffs all the Murlocs, he will have 4 health. And I mean, there's the Lord, there's also the Battle Cry one that gives him another 2 health. So having that creature on 4 health would be particularly bad. There's the Tide Hunter I touched on. That would have put him to 3 damage, which, you know, could have been embarrassing. I think here we just Arcane Missiles. And then if we happen to miss one of them, we'll clean it up with our passive. Best possible result, I think. To the face! Murloc decks, they're easy. They can be quite explosive, but if you sort of know what they're all about, and the reason I know what they're all about is because I've played them a lot. I had a lot of fun playing the Murloc decks, but I found that once people just started trading away, even inefficiently with my Murlocs, they became pretty bad. Because by themselves, the Murlocs, you know, unbuffed, are quite underwhelming. I definitely want to keep my counterspell probably for the late game here. I'd want to keep it so I can keep a Ragnaros alive or something like that. So I'm just going to play Ice Barrier and try to sort of make him guess what I've played here. Maybe he'll try to play around a counterspell or a mirror entity erroneously. We will be putting it down soon. Because we also want to buff our Ethereal Arcanist. So this Blood Imp is actually making these 1 toughness Murlocs 2 toughness, which is actually pretty decent, because it takes it out of range of our Fire Blast passive, which I can just ping off his guys pretty much at leisure. Unfortunately though, he's going to walk straight into my Blizzard, which will take out 3 of his whole creatures here. And that's going to feel pretty good as soon as he passes the turn. Matter of fact, I can't actually think of any other card I'd rather play right now. 3 for 1. Playing this and then getting 3 resources for it is going to feel pretty good. Pass the turn. Yeah, if you haven't got a board filled with Murlocs that are doing 6 damage each by turn, 6, if they're all disappeared, or at least, at the very least, you've put them down to under 10 health, which he has done neither of these things, yeah, you're probably not going to go too far. From this point on, he's just going to be playing unbuffed Murlocs, which are not particularly threatening. I want to put down Spellbender and Ethereal Arcanist right now, but together. But that's going to cost me 1 more mana than I have.
What to do?
Yeah. We'll put it on the Spellbender anyway, and, well, we could double up, couldn't we? I was going to Spellbender and ping, but... yeah. I mean, next turn we can Flame Strike. Hopefully he'll overextend into the Flame Strike. Let's double up. Let's put our counters out. If he does, next turn we can Flame Strike, and the turn after we can Ragnaros, and hoping that we can hold these 2 for a turn or 2 would put us in a spectacular position. Yeah, the Flame Strike will be played next turn. Yeah, we sort of expected him to dump his hand like this. I was just saying something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, these can be frightening if I don't have the sweepers, but I do.
Job done.
This has worked out exactly as I suggested, which is particularly good news. I mean, we now have 2 counter spells, and we're going to jam out Ragnaros. There's probably not many cards that he can play right now that would upset me from playing Ragnaros. That's the Lord that would have turned everything pear-shaped for us. That would have given us a lot of heartache had that come down earlier. When I chose to Frostbolt that second creature he dropped, if he dropped that as the creature after that, that would have taken them to 3 or 4 health, and it could have just been, hairy, especially if they played in multiples or anything like that. Get on the Murlocs as quickly as you can. Don't let them get out of control. I always say. Ideally here, when I hit this end turn button, Ragnaros will just kill that Murloc. I mean, I'm happy with it to go to his life total, but, Okay, so we win next turn, Fireball plus my passive. Yeah. And then there's Rag. That was quite possibly to get rid of the counterspell, which he knew was there. Shame I have 2.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what he would have had. Oh, I guess you could have had another 2 double Shadow Bolt or something like that to remove Rag. Hey, yeah, double sort of counterspell effects. Pretty nifty, but there it is. So you would have been able to double Shadow Bolt, but my double counterspells did a number. He's got all the resources. Alright. Thank you very much. We didn't spend much time on the murloc level there. See, one thing I haven't quite worked out just yet, and I'm probably going to find out once I go on the forums, is how this works. I mean, I assumed that the stars were indicative of, you know, a win. If I get a win, this will then light up, and then if I get another win, I go to the next level. But I was pretty sure that as a on the murloc level 22, I only had 1 star, and I just completed it, and then ticked up to 21. So there must be some sort of hidden, you know, MMR rating behind that. Anyway, whatever it is, we're climbing the ladder. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time.